when I grew up in the 80s in the school system, bilingual education was just starting. So I didn't have the luxury of being in a bilingual program. I was put in an immersion, basically immersed in English. So I remember being at home, the youngest of three, and my sisters just coming home crying, just crying because they did not understand the teachers. They did not understand what was happening. And I was watching all of this going on. I was lucky enough that I got a little bit of the English from my sisters learning at home. So when I came in, it wasn't such a hard transition for me. But I do remember that I would always get in trouble for talking. And I think part of that was that I was trying to use the space to practice this new language that I learned, and I didn't have anywhere else to do it. So, it's changed quite a bit in terms of really bilingual education was adopted in the mid 70s. But by the time it's really gotten strengthened, and now we're in this place where we're actually seeing the assets that children are bringing. It's an additive approach to have English and Spanish versus a subtractive approach, which is taking away the language to just move to English. And it's something that it's so valuable for me and the values that I have at home, because I realized in growing up that if my father wouldn't have been so adamant about us speaking Spanish and connecting to our culture at home, I would have lost my language. I would have lost my connection to speaking to my parents. I would have lost my connection to my country and my understanding of where I was from. And you have to be very intentional. And in being in this country too, I've learned about, one of my son's best friends in the dual language program. His mother went to high school with me, and his grandmother went to the Mexican school here in Austin. And she was reprimanded for using her Spanish here in Texas in the public schools. She was told that she shouldn't be using her language and her native language in Spanish. So there's a lot of history in Austin and in the United States about, how Spanish speakers were oppressed and how they were told not to use their language, that we're finally, I feel like, turning a leaf and really respecting what our kids are bringing. And part of that is language, but more than any of it, it's the culture and the connection. And so I wanted that for my kids. I did not want them to be in a space where I was assimilating in school and trying to figure out what my identity was, because I knew to be successful equated education. And my educational experience was something that I couldn't connect to. And so I remember when I was in third grade or fourth grade, I made a birthday card for my father. And I wrote it in Spanish the best I could phonetically, because I didn't have books in Spanish. I didn't have anything at home. And I remember my father's expression and how proud he was of me, and how, it was all written wrong, I'm sure, but this sense of pride and honor, and just that is what, when I think about my education and my learning, that's what stuck with me. Somebody who cared about me, saw that I was trying to do something to connect.